Now to the legal blowback to Italy's plan to regulate asylum seekers coming into that country. The Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is facing a major setback to her government's plan to ship undocumented migrants off to Albania. She's called a cabinet meeting after judges ruled that 12 Egyptian and Bangladeshi migrants sent this week to an Albanian processing center had a right to be brought to Italy. Now, that's because the judges said their countries of origin are not safe, contrary to an assessment by Meloni's government. Italy had planned to send possibly thousands of migrants picked up at sea to Albania under this controversial arrangement. All right, let's go straight now to journalist Seema Gupta in Rome. It's good to see you. What more can you tell us about the ruling by the judges?
Well, essentially, it was an immigration section of a tribunal here in Rome. And their decision was that this process, outsourcing, if you like, of the processing of migrants to Albania was not valid. And that's because the decision was made to speed up the processing of these migrants in another country based on the fact that these migrants were said to have come from what the Italian government deemed was safe countries. And so these migrants from Bangladesh and Egypt included in this list of about 20 or so so-called safe countries. Now, earlier this month, the European Court of Justice had already called into this question when ruling on another separate, completely unrelated case as to what could be deemed as a safe country outside of the EU bloc. And they said that all territory in those countries had to be deemed safe. And so it's called into question whether such countries can be considered safe if not every aspect of the territory is safe. So the court here in Rome simply deferring to the decision made at the European level of the European Court of Justice. Now, Ms. Meloni, for her part, though, reacted strongly to this, saying that, look, it's not for the courts to decide. The courts have been prejudiced in this particular instance.
Yeah, I mean, the court's decision was not a big surprise. I'm wondering, though, how big of a blow is this ruling for Meloni's government?
Well, it is a pretty big blow in the sense that earlier this week, really at the EU level, it seemed like as if they were boasting about the fact that there were several countries interested in their new project, that this was, as Ursula von der Leyen even said, an example of out-of-the-box thinking. 15 countries expressed interest, and yet initially, straight away, there was a blow. 16 migrants sent, 4 were already sent back because 2 were discovered to be minors, another 2 were in that vulnerable category, so could not be sent abroad. And then now you have this ruling by the courts. Now, the Interior Minister has said they intend to challenge this ruling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, before we run out of time, moving forward, what does all of this mean for Italy and Albania's migration deal? I mean, the two countries do have a deal here.
Yes, they have a deal, and Ms. Meloni has said she's called a cabinet meeting on Monday. She says they're going to get to the bottom of this. It's not up to the courts to decide. It's the governments that decide. Of course, critics to the deal are saying, well, you know, it's great that the courts have intervened with the rule of law, but we'll have to see how that works out. As you mentioned, a deal has been signed. They've agreed to pay a large sum of money over the course of 5 years. We'll see how this is going to play out in the courts. But yes, you have the government on one side and the judiciary on the other.
Yeah, to be continued. Journalist Seema Gupta in Rome with the latest tonight. Seema, thank you.